But imagine being the NFL and you decide, you know what, we're finally going to do it. We're going to go to an 18-week schedule. That means a 17-game schedule, and we're going to expand the playoffs for a second straight year. Imagine doing that as the NFL. And then you not only have the regular season come down to the very last seconds of the regular season, the very last second of week 18, you then go on to have the most insane playoff runs from all these teams. You had what? Two clunkers, really, when you think about it, in the first round of the playoffs. One was the Patriots. They got blown out by the Bills. Then the other one after that, unfortunately, was the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then everything else after that was, kicker's going to come into this game and really have a huge deciding factor. Like, I want to be a kicker next year. I really do. I want to be a kicker walking into training camp next year because you know those guys are just dripping with a little extra swagger walking into training camp next year based on how important they've been exactly this year and this year, especially in the playoffs. They have been bonkers important in the playoffs this year. And yesterday was no short of that. No shortage of that in the conference championship games. Those games after the divisional round of the playoffs are even more intense. And you saw last night the Chiefs game, yesterday afternoon, you saw the Chiefs game going to overtime. And if you didn't see this is insane. You saw Josh Allen when it went to the coin toss in overtime. You saw Josh Allen of the Bills tweet out just pain, period. That's it. And it's like, I feel that guy's pain. And when Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs won that coin toss in overtime to get the ball first, all of Kansas City erupted. Barbecue sauce was flying all over the place in great jubilation. Because they were really thinking that they were going to win that game because Patrick Mahomes was getting the ball first. Not so fast. Bengals ended up getting the ball. Bengals ended up winning the game. And it was nuts. If you didn't see it yesterday, what the heck is the matter with you? 27-24, Bengals get the win in overtime. And Joe Burrow, it's the weirdest thing. I have never looked at a young quarterback like Joe Burrow and thought to myself in the waning moments of a game where you're losing or the game's in the balance, I can't remember a time I looked at a guy that young. I mean, Patrick Mahomes certainly would be up there, but he's maybe the only other one. A great deal in between those two, thinking, you still got a shot, that kind of thing. But even with Patrick Mahomes, there was some kind of trust factor, even in his second year, where you just still didn't know a lot about. You knew he was very talented. You know he could make the circus throws, the no-look throws, all that stuff. But you still felt like you were learning him. But watching Joe Burrow this year in particular, knowing the weapons around him, which has a lot to do with it, knowing the quick strike offense that they can have as well, I never thought that they were out of it. I had a very similar feeling watching Patrick Mahomes in that game yesterday, and a very similar feeling to the way I was watching Joe Burrow play in that game as well, where at any moment, not maybe if it wasn't just the quarterback, but more so the weapons, at any moment, this guy could come back. And when Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid called that play at the end of the first half and executed it the way they executed it, I thought to myself, Joe Burrow this is going to be a game. Because think about this for a second. Before we dissect that last play, and we'll get into that. Guess who I have for you? I got Andy Reid for you in his post-game press conference. That'll get you in the feels, in the Wayback Machine for every Eagles fan watching. But if you're the Bengals, you're getting that game. You're getting out of the first half unscathed, essentially. You're down, 11 at that point, but you're still feeling, I'm really in this game. So they march down the field. They get an opportunity with 5 seconds left on the clock, no timeouts, to punch the football in and take a huge lead. Could have taken a 28-10 lead, the Chiefs, before halftime. Could have punched it in, taken a 28-10 lead before halftime, and then they got the ball in the second half to start things off. They received in the second half. So theoretically, you could have all of a sudden had a 35-10 point turnaround. That's okay. We all know that's nuts. 35-10 was what it could have been if you scored there and then scored again after halftime. Instead, Andy Reid calls a play where he sends a man out into the flat. Again, 5 seconds, no timeouts. End of the first half. You want to at least make sure you get the field goal here. Two-parter. One part. Yes, Patrick Mahomes, no way, shape, or form, should have made that throw that he made at that point in the game. That was a dumbass play. Patrick Mahomes is one of the most entertaining, most incredible quarterbacks I've ever watched. That was a dumbass play. It was also a dumbass play call. Why are any of your receiving options not in the end zone?